sparring, on the second day, August 6th, Mirza Nasir Ahmad presented numerous historical examples of fatwa, religious edicts of heresy, issued by various mainstream Muslim sects against each other. His point was sharp. If Parliament were to define a Muslim, it would descend to the level of a Takfiri mullah, especially since even the groups advocating for the Second Amendment frequently declared each other kafir.
But Bakhtiar simply dismissed these historical examples as mere individual opinions of one sect against another, while claiming that all Muslim sects were unanimous in declaring Ahmadis as non-Muslims. This was a deliberate attempt to manufacture a false sense of consensus, conveniently ignoring the rich history of intra-Muslim theological disputes. The true goal wasn't theological resolution, but political justification for the state's actions.
And let's not overlook the procedural oddities that plagued these hearings. The proceedings were held in camera. Bakhtiar himself justified this as necessary to avoid provocation of the masses. Yet the sources also allege he said that if the proceedings were published, it would, quote, go against the Ahmadis. This points to a calculated strategy to control the narrative and suppress any information favorable to the Ahmadiyya community.
The lack of transparency is truly disturbing. The record, spanning over 3,000 pages, remained classified for decades. It was only declassified in 2012 after persistent legal action by an Ahmadi who wrote several letters and funded the legal challenge himself. Even then, crucial evidence submitted by the Ahmadiyya delegation, like the Makhzarnama, is absent from the official records. Many Arabic references presented by either side were omitted. Furthermore, the audio tapes that should have accompanied the documents were allegedly destroyed in a fire. There are even instances where the Speaker of the House asked reporters to leave, leaving unknown what was discussed in their absence. This lack of completeness, coupled with the Attorney General's alleged post-proceedings practice of repeating accusations without acknowledging the Ahmadiyya responses, paints a picture of a process heavily skewed against the delegation.
It really underscores the idea of a war of two narratives. The state, under immense pressure from religious groups following the Rabwa incident, weaponized the issue of religious identity. The Samdani Commission, formed to investigate the Rabwa incident, ultimately recommended a parliamentary hearing on the Ahmadiyya community's status, effectively transforming a law and order issue into a constitutional and theological one.
And this transformation of the National Assembly into a heresy inquisition, with the Attorney General leading a theological cross-examination, marked a profound and troubling precedent for Pakistan. It's ironic that a nation recently broken apart, recovering from military defeat, and described as introverted, deeply suspicious, and paranoid, would engage in, quote, churning out conspiracy theories on an industrial scale against its own citizens. This was evident in allegations of, quote, subversive Qadiani activities in Africa, cited by some of the speakers towards the end of the proceedings.
One striking detail is that while finality of prophethood, Khatm-e-Nabuwat, was the main subject in Bakhtiar's concluding speech and in the concluding remarks of all speakers, no direct questions were raised on this subject during the cross-examination. Instead, there were only follow-up questions like, can more prophets come? Or, what is Ummati Nabi? This suggests that the cross-examination might not have been a genuine theological inquiry, but rather a performative act. This pattern was consistent with fabricated accusations, such as the Adiani Kalima controversy, where MMNA Inam ar-Rahman Abbasi claimed Ahmadis read Ahmad ar-Rasulallah instead of Muhammad ar-Rasulallah. Mirza Nasir Ahmad calmly pointed out the tashdid on the letter M in the word they misread in a grainy newspaper image, demonstrating a clear attempt at deception.
Indeed, and the conduct of some members was equally telling. Shah Ahmad Noorani reportedly could not bear the sight of Khalifatul Masih III being seated while answering the questions, which some commentators describes as a measure of the small-mindedness. The, quote, lies, ignorance, and hatred of the honorable members were so prevalent that one source suggests